Welcome, everyone. Before I start sharing my slides, I just want to give you a little bit of housekeeping information. We are recording this session, and the recording will be made available to you and other members who are joining us who aren't able to attend tonight. So no fear, you'll be able to review the information either by watching the video again. Or we will also be making the slideshow available as well, so you'll have access to any links that are in the slideshow and the information that is there. We also do have our Q&A feature opened tonight. We are certain that you're going to get most of your questions answered tonight, but there may be one or two that we miss. Please feel free to drop your questions into the Q&A. We aren't answering questions live tonight. There may be some questions that are responded to tonight, but we will provide written answers to all of the questions, and that will be made available to all attendees and anyone else via our newsletters and our websites and so forth. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my slideshow again. Maybe. There we go. And again, welcome to the Sandpiper Middle School Information Night, and congratulations on having a graduating fifth grader, a promoting fifth grader, and an incoming middle school student. You have made it that far. Some of you tonight may also be parents of students who are seventh or eighth graders. Welcome. We enjoy having you at our school as well, and we're excited to share information about Sandpiper. My name is Gloria Higgins. I am the very proud principal of Sandpiper School, and in a few minutes you're going to get to meet the best middle school staff around. You can see here that our district, Belmont-Redwood School, Redwood Shores School District, has adopted recently a strategic plan, and we know that tonight you're going to see a lot of information about what Sandpiper does to focus on those top two quadrants of our strategic plan, developing well-rounded learners and a strong focus on belonging and inclusion. We're sure that's going to come through in our presentation tonight. Again, I'm Gloria Higgins. I am the principal of Sandpiper School, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask members of the team to unmute themselves and introduce themselves. And we're just going to start with Miss Beret.
Hi there, my name's Miss Beret. I teach social studies and ELA. I also teach culinary arts and our elective, which is computer focused digital media arts.
Okay, thank you. How about Miss Karkowski?
Hi, I'm Miss Karkowski. I'm the math and science teacher for sixth grade, and I also teach cultural arts and 3D arts.
Okay, thank you, Miss K. Miss B.
Hi, my name is Lynn Bjorquist. I teach seventh grade ELA and history, and my electives are Speak Up and Speak Out and the Renaissance and Design Thinking.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss B. Miss Osorio next.
Hi, I'm Miss Osorio. I am the seventh grade math and science teacher. I also teach print journalism as well as broadcast journalism for my electives.
Thank you, Miss Osorio. Miss Manchester.
Hi, I am Miss Manchester. I am the ELA and history teacher for eighth grade. My electives were user experience. I'm currently doing world religions, and I also did something with marine biology.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss Manchester. Miss Gao.
Hello, I'm Miss Gao. I teach eighth grade math, science, and algebra 1, and my electives are textile design, Japanese culture, and graphic art.
Great, thank you. Miss Bass is not here tonight, but Miss Bass is an integral part of our middle school team. She is our ed specialist teaching the SDC classroom for students with intensive supports. We also have with us tonight here Coach Van Laar.
Hi, my name is Coach Aaron. I teach the 6th through 8th grade middle school PE, and I'm also our athletic director.
Yes, you're going to hear about lots of sports from Mr. Van Laar in just a little bit. Miss Romani is also with us tonight. She is our school counselor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anisha Ramani. I'm the school counselor, and you'll definitely get to hear a little bit more of what I do later on.
Great. And then Mr. Bartel and Miss Van Laar are not here tonight, but they are also an important part of our team. Mr. Bartel is our Learning Center teacher for students with IEPs who have goals in the Learning Center that they may work on. And Miss Van Laar is our Reading and Language Specialist. So she supports students who may need additional support with reading or developing English language. And then not listed here, but pictured here so nicely in that bright pink shirt is our assistant principal, Miss Scala. Miss Scala, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Stephanie Scala. I'm the assistant principal at Sandpiper School and longtime teacher there as well.
That's right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. At Sandpiper, we are deeply committed to our purpose to empower an inclusive community of critical thinkers who contribute to an ever-changing world. And what you see here is our newly aligned. We've been working on a learner profile for about 3 years, maybe 3.5 years at Sandpiper. And our district has just now adopted a learner profile for the district. So you can see there, we strive to make sure that our students leave our school as strong thinkers who have a passion for pursuing knowledge, as innovators who are looking to explore ideas and new solutions, and as advocates who really work to champion a positive impact for themselves, for others, and for their community. We approach this work with some signature practices at Sandpiper that you're going to hear a little bit about tonight. You're going to hear about design thinking from Ms. Scala in a few moments. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our work with diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And while we're not going to talk about professional learning communities tonight, that is really the approach that our staff takes as we work with collective efficacy and in collaboration to make sure that all of our students are meeting those high expectations that we have for them and that we know that they can attain. So let's get started with diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. The first thing I want you to know about this work is that we really cannot overstate the benefits of focusing in this way. We know from research that students have better health outcomes, students have better academic outcomes, and they have better life outcomes when they feel a strong sense of belonging in their schools and communities. And we also know that everyone's sense of belonging goes up when they see themselves in their community and in their curriculum. So we try to embed that in all of our work. You can see here some nice work that happens in a TK through 8th grade setting where we're able to buddy students, younger students with older students. We really want to focus that strong academics in that culture of community with continuity and student leadership. So just being in a TK through 8th grade setting really does increase a sense of belonging and safety. And we know that from research out of Syracuse University. And for those of you who are joining Sandpiper, having been at other elementary schools, we know that the benefits of being in a TK through 8th grade environment are true even for students who transfer in older grades or in 6th grade. We also spend a lot of effort and time working on the celebration of different identities and cultures. So you'll see that through our celebrations and our assemblies with this month, for example, Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander month. In the photograph, you can see some work that the buddies were working on to celebrate that. We celebrate lots of cultural and identity months. And we have a very strong and popular Rainbow Alliance in our middle school so that we are inclusive of students on the LGBTQ in that community and making sure that all are feeling welcome. All right, Ms. Scala, I'd like to turn it over to you for design thinking now.
All right, thank you. So design thinking, that was just a few pictures of some projects that students have done in the past that I'll touch on as we're talking. So design thinking is problem solving grounded in empathy with a bias towards action. We talk about this and how it really works with DEIB because the first part of this process is empathizing. And then from there, looking at a problem someone has, and we use this through many sections of our curriculum in middle school. Next slide. Some examples of this throughout is each year the middle school does a whole middle school design project. They have done things from creating games for our TK to third grade students where they worked in groups and then had to teach these games to them. So they had to think of what were the needs for these students and how could they teach these games and create their own unique game. This year they did a project designing a t-shirt, and that was standing for what Sandpiper is. So there was a lot of work in interviewing and iteration on what does that really mean and how would a slogan or something like that fit on a t-shirt. And then those were proudly displayed around our middle school. Some ways that we have this through literature is looking at a character's need and then showing your understanding of that work through designing something and using that character as your point of thought. So it's a really interesting way, instead of writing a response, to work with others and collaborate on doing that. And those are just some ways. Oh, the most important way that we do it is our Genius Hour. That is one that the students are working on now. Genius Hour is a time where students get to find a passion project or a need from in the community and how can they address it. Right now, our students are working on mental health and doing projects around that. And it's really interesting to see in 6th, 7th, and 8th, how each student finds their own unique take on mental health and how they can address it. Maybe it's something that they need, something they see within the community, something they see with a friend in class. But it's really wonderful to be able to walk through the middle school during that Wednesday Genius Hour time and talk to students about their project. And each one is able to tell us why they're doing this project, why it's important, what's the research behind it. So it's really powerful model to use in design thinking, and we're proud to have it at Sandpiper.
Thank you so much, Ms. Scala. As we do our work to empower our students, that means that we want to take into consideration what our students say. We want to get feedback from them. And we do that every year with our Youth Truth Survey. We survey staff, we survey families, and we survey students. And this is what our middle schoolers said about us in the last survey taken in February of this year. You can really see, and we're very proud to have those high percentile rankings in all the categories that are listed there on the survey: engagement, academic challenge, culture, belonging and peer collaboration, and relationships. You can also see from this slide that our middle schoolers, their ratings of us have placed us in the top of the district. So we're very, very proud of that. I'm very grateful for the team that's here tonight, who are doing that work with students and getting these results. And this is what the students are saying about us. You can also see on the very right-hand side of this slide, the general trend over the last 3 years that we've taken this survey, and generally trending up and high and scoring at a high level every year. So very proud of the work that we do, and we're glad that it's showing in what the students are saying about us. All right, with that, I'm going to let some other people do a little bit of talking. You're going to hear from the teachers, and we're going to start with Ms. Beret, our 6th grade language arts teacher, who is going to share a little bit about what that looks like for students.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So English language arts at Sandpiper, we really try to reach the students with different genres that they would be interested in, from Harry Potter to The Giver. We have social issue genres, deep study of character. We go into compare and contrast. We have nonfiction, and we end the school year with book clubs. With our writing, we move along through the reading units and we parallel them using personal narrative writing, argument, and informative writing. We wrap up the end of the school year with fantasy and graphic novels, which is a lot of fun for the students. One of the programs that we're working on right now is argument writing. It's essay writing. We did informative writing when we were doing NHD, which is National History Day, writing, which ties in informative writing through writing a thesis and doing a deep dive on historical research that has a theme each year. This year, we are also working on our personal narratives. So right now in ELA, we are wrapping up our year with nonfiction and fiction book clubs and fantasy and graphic writing novels. Next slide.
There you go.
Thanks. We have used TCI, History Alive, for the ancient world. We start off with hominins, go through ancient Egypt, the Middle East, ancient India, China, and right now we are focusing on Greece and Rome. The last 3 years with our history program, we have had an in-house program where we do the walk through the ancient world, where the students learn different parts throughout history, whether it's Egypt, Greece, or Rome, and we do like an acting out living history day, which both students seem to really enjoy. They make their own costumes, they learn their parts, and they really take ownership of just living that portion of history for the day, and they really enjoy it. And that is also open to the parents to enjoy, and seeing your kids flourish with hands-on learning is really a great part of the history program.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Beret. I do want to especially thank Ms. Beret, who is here tonight, even though she's about to sign off and go to her own daughter's high school orientation meeting tonight. So thank you very much for your time, Ms. Beret. Have a great night with your daughter, too.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all next year. Bye.
All right. One of the biggest questions that we get at Sandpiper is, will my child have access to advanced math or be able to take algebra? And the answer is yes. We have a pathway for students to that all of our students may be able to participate in algebra by their 8th grade year. In 6th and 7th grade, we focus on Common Core standards, but we do differentiate our classrooms so that we have some that are working on 6th grade Common Core standards and some that may be working at a more accelerated pace. But all students, regardless of if they are in 6th grade or in an accelerated math, do have the opportunity to advance to either the accelerated math class in 7th grade or to algebra by the time they get into 8th grade. I want to draw your attention to the left-hand side of this slide, where we look at those standards for mathematical practice, because beyond the Common Core standards, the content that students might be learning, there are also the standards that we use to foster mathematical thinking in all of our students so that they can think deeply. I do want to invite Ms. Gao to now talk a little bit about algebra, so she is our 8th grade math algebra teacher, and she can talk a little bit about the pathways for math at Carlmont High School as well.
Hello. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about applies to Carlmont, but it also applies to a lot of the other high schools as well. So if you're thinking about D-Tech or Sarah for boys, Notre Dame for girls, and there's others that I can't think of right now, Sequoia High School, some people decide to go there. All of this kind of applies. So I guess I just wanted to reassure you that even if you had the idea like right now, oh yeah, I really want my kid to get into Algebra 1 by 8th grade, the fact is not everybody's going to get in. But that is also totally fine because there's so many opportunities to accelerate later on, or even like over the summer right before they go to high school. But what I really want to emphasize is how important a foundation in math is before getting into high school. because when it comes to, like applying for colleges and stuff, colleges look more at a GPA than, I mean, yes, they look at advanced classes, but getting a mediocre grade in an advanced class is not as powerful as getting an A in a regular track. And given the opportunities to take courses online over the summer, any year, even if a child is in Common Core 8th grade math, like I can guarantee that they are going to get a really good foundation to get into Algebra 1 or to take Algebra 1 over the summer. So, I hope that that puts any kind of anxiety at ease, and that, no matter which class, like, a child might end up getting into, they're in good hands, and there's a lot of options to get to that higher level math track, even if it's not like specifically 8th grade Algebra 1.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Gao. All right. Let's introduce Ms. Karkowski now, our 6th grade math and science teacher, to talk a little bit about what math and science looks like in her classrooms.
Okay, so at our middle school, I'm Miss Karkowski. At our middle school, we use Desmos a lot for math, which shows manipulatives of the math, online visuals. So it really applies meaning to the math we do. The math that we do at Sandpiper really is getting away from just memorizing steps, algorithms, computations, because computers can do that. AI is advancing. We want the kids to be critical thinkers and actually understand what they are doing and why the math logically works out in certain ways. And Desmos completely helps with that. Students write like 3 sentences at least per lesson on the main idea and how to solve, or how to figure out whatever concept we're working on in that class. We do a lot of problem of the weeks that are very challenging for students, centers, small grouping. We do design thinking projects, STEM fair. Our science labs definitely require math, but I'd say overall, our expectation for students to be able to explain what they're learning in math is really high. And science. So again, we're trying to get away from just the memorization piece and really have our students become science investigators on their own. So our goal by the time they leave Sandpiper is to be able to construct their own sound science investigation. Along the way, we are doing labs in our 6th grade topics, 7th grade topics, 8th grade topics that help kids discover the answers through their own exploration, which is really awesome to see. And we did in 6th grade, we did a field trip to the California Academy of Sciences this year, and that was super fun.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Kay. All right. Coach Van Laar.
Well, hello, everyone. Yeah, so in our middle school PE, we focus on fitness, nutrition, sport, and goal setting. One of, I think the most exciting sports we're doing right now is actually racket sports. We are just about finished with it, but we went over ping pong, pickleball, tennis, and we're finishing with badminton right now. It's one of my favorite units that we're doing. It's different and it's a lot of fun. Gives the kids a chance to see some sports that you might not always see. Like of course, we do basketball, soccer, volleyball, but the racket sports is one of my favorite ones. And then highlighting goal setting too. We set goals as a class at the beginning of the year, and then throughout the year we go on achieving those goals, whether they're fitness goals or nutrition goals. And we have check-ins by trimester, going over how those goals are going, and then each trimester we set new goals. And so it's It's a good time, and we're learning a lot about PE. We can go to the next one whenever you're ready, Ms. Higgins. Our Art David Athletics. So I am our athletic director as well. And the sports that we offer are flag football, cross country, volleyball, basketball, and tennis. For sixth graders, the seasons are a little different. We have girls volleyball right at the beginning of the school year, as well as flag football that are both available for sixth graders. Basketball doesn't start until January, the end of January for sixth graders. And then boys volleyball and tennis start right now. So that's currently what we're doing right now. The Art David Athletic League goes from Half Moon Bay all the way down to Palo Alto. Our teams usually play in the north section, so we usually stay around Belmont, San Carlos, and San Mateo, sometimes going up to Half Moon Bay. And I think that's it on that one.
All right, thanks so much, Coach Van Laar.
Of
I do
course.
want to just make a note that the sports that we offer highly depend upon the coaching that we have available. So any parents out there in the audience who might have some coaching experience, we're always kind of looking for coaches to help out.
Absolutely. And even more on that one, sorry, Gloria.
That's okay.
Like what you had on the bottom of that slide, if you go back, it's like sports may
Yeah.
change based on coach availability and interest. The past few years, we've been trying to get a co-ed soccer team off the ground and going. And this year, I thought we had a really good chance. We had a lot of students who were interested in playing. And then when signups came around, we only got about 5 or 6, and we couldn't offer it. I would love to be able to offer a co-ed or even either boys or girls soccer to that list. It's just that that's one of those sports right now we have interest, and then we don't have signups. So if your students are interested in it and we get signed up, I would love to offer soccer as well.
Thank you so much, Coach. All right, I think we are back to Miss Scala now.
We are. So our music and arts, we have music that is optional weekly before school. That's on Tuesdays and starts about 7:45. And once you're enrolled, or once we start school, you'll get some information before that starts. We also have monthly Leap Art whole classroom classes that are in each grade taught by our Leap Art teachers that come. So students will have art class once a month, but then they also have arts in electives, which I'll talk about on the next slide, especially in sixth grade. I think we have some exciting art electives. Also, though, it comes up in intercession. Intercession is a time during which we have half days for the elementary school. So in the middle school, students, teachers get to teach a passion class that they're interested in. Students get to kind of change it up. They mix up with the grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and they can go to different classes. Some intercessions we had around the arts these past 2 years were watercolor painting, ukulele, reader's theater, calligraphy, just to name a few. All right, electives and enrichment, as you can see here, and I talked about sixth grade, does have arts embedded into their curriculum. So we have digital media, cultural arts, 3D arts, and culinary arts. You get one elective per trimester. All sixth grade students will have digital media and cultural arts, and then they get to choose between 3D arts and culinary arts for the last trimester. In seventh grade, there's public speaking, print and media journalism, Renaissance and design, and the same where you will have public speaking and print media. We had an awesome newspaper this year going. And then in the last trimester, seventh graders get a choice there. In eighth grade, when you make it to eighth grade, you get a little bit more choice in those electives. So some of the electives that we have now in eighth grade are graphic arts, world religion, Japanese culture, marine biology, textile design, and web design. These can also change with students' interests. This year we had a change in eighth grade, and we changed some of the electives, and students were really excited about it. Some other things to talk about is quest time, which I talked about before, Genius Hour, that's students finding a project where they're given some direction with teachers and work with them to do that design thinking process based on a theme. And then they present those at the end of a trimester. But they get to kind of explore, do this project on their own, really find their unique passion under the theme, which is really interesting. And we've seen some really cool things from students over the years. Miss Bray touched on National History Day, and Miss Karkowski talked about the STEM fair for science. And I touched a little bit on intercession, but you will hear lots more about those things when your students join middle school. All right, extracurricular activities, the best parts sometimes of school. We have robotics at school. We just had some teams go to nationals, which was very exciting. We have theater this year. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what play we did this year.
The Little Mermaid.
Thank you so much. The Little Mermaid. Yes. We are really lucky to get to partner with the San Carlos Children's Theater that comes in, and we put on a play normally around November that the students start working on in the summer, or as school starts, but there's signups in the summer, which is really exciting. The kids love it. It's always a great performance. We have student council, Rainbow Alliance, middle school hangouts, library helpers, art club, garden club, and dances through SYC. Also, we've had some students that have had, especially this showed a little bit this year with 8th grade, really wanting to make sure art club got up and running, that they were interested in that, and they really piloted it themselves, and got a staff member and actually a parent on staff that would help out and make sure that that was running, and they split it because it was really important to the kids to have that on Fridays. They also got really excited and wanted to have their middle school talent show. So a group of 7th and 8th graders decided and ran the whole thing and just blew us away with the online program they had and the show that they put together. We just had that last weekend, which was really lovely. So there's lots of room for exciting extracurriculars at our school. And I'm gonna pass it off to Miss Romani now.
Thank you, Ms. Gala. So once again, hi, I'm Mr. Mani. I'm the school counselor, and social emotional learning is really important to our school. And I think we've already also talked about some of it because it's interwoven throughout our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. The theme for Genius Hour being mental health, all of those things are really amazing. SEL is really important because it definitely improves achievement in school, really impacts how well, a student can perform and study. It increases their pro-social behaviors such as kindness, sharing, empathy, which is huge, and overall reduces depression and stress in school. The teachers have access to our SEL curriculum, which is called Wayfinder, and you're welcome to explore that curriculum yourself if you would like. Their website is withwayfinder.com. There is homeroom for the first 15 minutes of every day where there's breakfast and morning meeting and some SEL content. And we also have a weekly assembly, which includes PBIS, which is just positive behavior interventions, as well as student announcements. And it's just a way for our school K through 8 as a community to come together every Wednesday. And then for me, I definitely deliver targeted content in the classrooms. Next year, a big focus is going to be college and career readiness, as well as drug awareness. I run community circles within classrooms as well. I also, continue the relationships with students from elementary school since I am the one counselor at Sandpiper, and I do see all of the students. Often there will be siblings, some in elementary and then others in middle, so it's always nice when I get to see a whole family kind of grow up. So my services are short term. I can see students for any a variety of different issues or challenges, whether they're struggling with anxiety, self-esteem, or organization skills, or if they're dealing with other stressors in their lives. I offer up to 6 to 8 weeks of counseling sessions to help them gain those coping skills or executive functioning skills to manage their feelings and deal with middle school. But beyond that, I can refer to outside therapy or whatever resource may be helpful for families. I do check-ins and I'm open to all students whenever they need it. And as well as conflict mediation, problem solving, and I help with the other variety of issues such as grief or separation. This year, I also ran a parent book club, and we read the book, The Emotional Lives of Teenagers, together. So it was a really great way to support parents in learning how to support their kids in school as well as connecting with one another. You're welcome to contact me. I've listed my contact information below. My email is aramani@brssd.org, so feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions. I also help run the garden club, which I always feel is great for everyone's mental health, mine included. And it's been so wonderful to see the kids actively engage in that on Wednesdays.
And the garden
But
is fabulous too. Thank you very much, Miss Romani.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to head back to Miss Scala now for some information about student supports.
Great, so you saw there some of our support team. So this is for students that we have two options on our 504 plan, our IEPs, and you should have heard already and be setting up those transition meetings. So we host a classroom for students with intensive needs. That's our SDC class. And then our model for students with IEPs is the Learning Center. We also have accommodations through our 504 plans for teachers, and I am the manager of those for the 504s. So as you can see here, you can look at a little bit of the models that we have for students with an IEP in the Learning Center, or students that need more and have more of an intensive need that would be in our SDC class. All right, and this is a sample schedule of what our middle school schedule looks like. You know, I do want to say that minor adjustments can be made. And I know we have one coming up because we have a 10-minute break at school. There's a new law now that says there has to be a 15-minute break. So this will be changed slightly, but want to give you just an idea of what your schedule could possibly look like.
I would say the thing to emphasize here is that we do operate on a block schedule, which means that students will have their core classes twice a week, but for a double long period. So instructional minutes are very comparable to what would happen at a traditional middle school, but we really appreciate having that double block, especially in the classes where we want to spend a little more time getting in depth in something before that bell rings and kids have to rush off to the next class.
And it also really helps to get some more personalized attention in those classes or small group instruction, and really gives teachers the time to work in a variety of ways for students. With that, student orientation, we will have our our new student orientation, August 13th, right before school starts from 12 to 1:30. This event, I want to point out, is for students only. And then our first day of school is August 14th, and lunch will be provided at student orientation. All right, this is our information from Parent Square. Please, you will get an invite at the beginning of the year, but please make sure that all your information is updated with us and correct. And that will be our main source of communicating back and forth with teachers, and how you'll get classroom updates and things like that will all be on Parent Square. That is our main form of communication. All right, and that leaves us to questions. I know I answered a few as they were popping up. Here's some good information to have. Also for people, if there are questions after this that you might have and you're like, hey, I need to send an email. These are the 4 best people to talk to.
All right, thank you, Ms. Scala. That is the end of our presentation. We're going to go ahead and leave the Q&A open for a minute or two. So if you have a question that we didn't get to, please go ahead and drop that in the Q&A. We're just going to stop the recording while you finish your Q&A and say goodnight to everybody. And thank you very much for your attention. And we are so excited to have your student joining us next year. Thank you.